Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Onesie and welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video I am going to be talking about something which I probably shouldn't be talking about, but here I am going to be talking about it anyways. Now before I start telling the story, I just want to let everyone know something. Drugs are highly dangerous and stupid to consume. As amazing as I may make the experience sound, I would not recommend you do MDMA. Consuming it could possibly lead to things like a high blood pressure, a loss of consciousness, and in some cases seizures. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now some of you may be asking, Onesie, how did you find yourself in such a situation? Well, let me explain. This all started as a pretty normal day for me, just sitting in my room playing some video games, jacking it. Then all of a sudden I got a message from one of my friends. For privacy reasons, I'm going to be referring to these friends using Mr. and a certain letter. So I got a message from Mr. T, and straight away I thought to myself, oh, I wonder what Mr. T could want at a time like this. I opened my DMs, thought nothing of it at the time, and saw this. Hey Onesie, wanna do MDMA on the weekend? And I'll be honest, I didn't know what the fuck MDMA was at the time. So I replied saying in a curious tone, MDMA? And Mr. T replied, yeah, MDMA, you know, Molly? And then instantly I thought to myself, isn't that little pump song I used to throw it back to when I was 14? And then it clicked. Molly, the drug that every rapper mentions in their songs. Now, I didn't know the effects of Molly, but without hesitation I said, sure, why not? And then Mr. T replied, okay, cool, make sure to bring £5 on Saturday, meet us at the bridge near high school. I'll be with Mr. S, Mr. N, and Mr. H. The others will be coming later at Mr. S's house. And as dodgy as all this seems, I knew it was legit because I knew everyone there. I didn't ask any questions. 3 days passed, and it was Saturday, the big day, the day where I possibly could have died. How, you ask? Well, after this whole thing happened, I was informed by another friend called Mr. M that the pills we bought were fake. Yep, I consumed fake Molly, which let me just say, you should not consume Molly in the first place, but fake Molly is a completely different story. These pills could have had anything in them to replicate the authenticity of a real MDMA pill. They look legit enough, but what's inside is what really counts. So please get a testing kit before trying any drugs you consume, because there could be a chance that they are fake. Anyways, back with the story. We all arrived at Mr. S's house. We went to the back in his garage. Mr. S's garage is like huge, by the way, so it's a perfect place to party and experiment with new substances, which we did. Once there, we all waited about 15 minutes for the rest of us to show up. Mr. M arrived with his girlfriend, who is now his ex. Oh yeah, we need to give her a name too, don't we? Let's see, how about Miss B? So once they showed up, all of my friends started the ritual of giving me my MDMA pill. They recommended that I took half of the pill because it was my first time, but I said, nah, fuck that, and proceeded to swallow the whole pill and washed it down with some nice, cold aqua. Everyone apart from Mr. M took a full pill, and all we had to do now was wait. So I waited and waited. About 20 minutes in, I thought to myself, when the fuck is this gonna kick in? I didn't think much of it, so I started jamming out to some music, talking with a couple of friends, tried to get to know Miss B a little more, mainly because it was my first time ever meeting her. Then 15 minutes later, something changed. There was a disturbance in the force. I said to myself quietly, whoa. That's when it started to kick in. Now everyone probably wants to know, how did it feel? It's hard to explain. You know when someone who has never done a certain thing before asks you how did it feel or what is it like? All you can say to them is, dude, you got to try it yourself to understand. That is the kind of position I am in right now, but I'll try my best to explain it. It was like everything was super light. If you've ever stood up super quickly and you feel super lightheaded and light in general, it feels like that. It was like I went from weighing 250 lbs to about 150 lbs. Then I shouted very autistically to my friends, guys, I have an announcement to make. It has finally kicked in. Then everyone started cheering because theirs also kicked in around the same time mine did. So we all just celebrated like someone just proposed to somebody else, and I just couldn't believe how much I started opening up to people. When I'm around people, I usually never talk. It's not because I'm shy or anything like that, I just never have anything interesting to say at the time. So I just end up sitting there and being quiet majority of the time when I'm with friends. But here was the complete polar opposite. When it kicked in, I was very confused about how I felt, and I was just amazed at how light I felt. And then all of a sudden, Mr. S came out of nowhere and gave me a fat snog on the lips, which, as you can imagine, was confusing me even more because I just got kissed by one of my best friends. In a normal situation, I would have been very uncomfortable with this, but because I was on Molly, I wasn't, which then confused me even more because I was just saying to myself, why did I not care that one of my friends just kissed me on my lips? And it was because of the Molly. That was the reason why I didn't care. When you're on Molly, you are very loving and caring about others, which can lead to you being very affectionate towards others too, which is why I wasn't really bothered by it. But then out of nowhere, Mr. N got in on the action too, which I was jaw dropped, by the way. I was completely jaw dropped when Mr. N came out of nowhere and snogged me on the lips too. Everyone was kissing me like I was their fucking pillow or some shit, and Mr. N asked me if I was okay with what just happened, which I replied saying, oh yeah, of course, it's all good, which if I was sober wouldn't have been fine. But my dopamine fueled mind didn't give two shits about what just happened. So then the night went on. We all proceeded to open ourselves up more to each other and really made our relationship between each other even stronger, because I could just talk to people. I could just let them, you know, talk to me about whatever was on their mind. I would just sit there and listen like I was taking some sort of listening exam in high school. The music felt amazing. The way I felt in general felt amazing. The vibes were nothing but positive. It really was an amazing experience and something I will never forget till the day I die. The pills lasted about 4 to 6 hours, which may sound like a nightmare, but the time goes super quick when you're on it. I remember having a conversation about pissing while sitting down, which was a super weird thing to talk about, and to be honest, I didn't even know how we had that conversation in the first place. But again, nobody gave a shit. You physically couldn't give a shit about anything that was going on. You wasn't aware of the conversations you were having. You were so unaware of the surroundings that I even cuddled with one of my best friends. For a very short amount of time, me and Mr. T were cuddling like a couple who haven't seen each other for more than 10 minutes, and it hit different, as gay as it sounds. The worst part of the whole Molly experience is when it wears off. When you're on the come down of being on Molly, your dopamine levels hit an all-time low, which makes you feel like complete utter shit and makes you super sad. Me personally, I didn't feel the effects of the lack of dopamine. I felt tired and drowsy. That was the same on me. I specifically remember munching down on some nacho cheese Doritos, and all I could say was, yo, these are hitting right now, you know, about several times in a row, which became a bit of an inside joke between me and Mr. S, whose house I stayed at, by the way, mainly because I didn't trust myself walking home after such a long night. So me and him watched some memes, maybe a movie, I don't really know, spooned a little bit, and lived happily ever after. So yeah, that was my first and last ever time doing Molly. Moral of the story is that drugs are awesome, under the right circumstances of course. I don't promote the use of drugs, but I would recommend giving them a try at least once while you're still young and thriving with hormones? Okay, this is a really weird script. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if so, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and all that BS. And yeah, peace.